What's up, everyone? This is Angel of the Dawn / Riku Keyblade Master back once again. And today, I know I said I wouldn't do this because of the fact that this contains an overly done concept, but and a bunch of other people reviewed it and it all turned out the same. And every review is going to be copy and paste, but here we go. Today we are working on Ralph Breaks the Internet. Now, here's the funny thing. There will be spoilers, so if you have not yet seen this, don't watch this video if you don't want to be spoiled. But if you don't mind, that's okay too. I'll give you a few seconds. Still there? Alright. Let's move on. Well, so we start off with Ralph and Vanellope just chilling, looking at, well, their version of looking at the clouds. And Ralph is tossing something in his hand. And, then he shows Vanellope a trick. I'm assuming the thing in Ralph's hand is like a brick or whatever. I mean, he pretended it was a football. And he's like, touchdown! Anyway. So then they go through and they start talking, and Vanellope's like, you ever wonder if there's more to life than this? Which I understand that, because I get those all the time. And it's not exactly anything bad, per se. It's not exactly bad to be thinking like that, except in Ralph's case, he's like, well, I got everything I need right here. Got a lot more friends now that everybody's nice to me. Got a good friend, a best friend. That's you, kid. And, you know, everything is crazy. But I still love it. I don't mind doing the same thing over and over again. The only thing I would change is not having to go to work. But it's okay. We still have our same routine. Then we skip to Tappers. And they're having a burping contest, Ralph and Vanellope. And afterwards, everything, you know, hijinks ensue, and they all go to work. And Vanellope, Ralph kind of stays behind and surprises Vanellope with a new track, because she said she knows all the tracks, all the shortcuts, everything. It's too predictable. He goes, she wants something new? I'll give her something new. Well, then the player, which her name's Swati loses control of the controller, and all because of the shortcut and everything. And Mr. Litwack tries to fix the controller, only to end up breaking it off of the game in the process. And I mean, yikes. But Vanellope's alright. She ends up liking the track, even if it was a dangerous track. And she got, just like in the last game, just like in the last movie where she showed Ralph her home, she basically was like, yeah, this is pretty cool. It was such an epic track. I didn't even see that coming. Thank you, Ralph. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Then the other game characters go over to Vanellope and Ralph, and they're like, we got a situation. And that situation being that the controller is busted completely off of Sugar Rush. And they couldn't fix it. So Mr. Litwack, they look up a controller on eBay. And they're like, woo, that's way more than this arcade makes. Heck no. Heck no. Unless I can find the money for a brand new controller, I gotta send this thing to the salvage department. My salvage guy is coming in 2 days. So it might be time to salvage this thing for old parts and unplug Sugar Rush for good. And so everybody finds out that he's gonna unplug the game. And they go back into the lobby, talk to the guy with the clipboard, and they're like, oh my god, no way! This is ridiculous! They're all in a huge panic. And the guy is like, good lord, I haven't seen this many gameless characters since Space Invaders went down. Which I really miss that game. That's one of my favorite games, Space Invaders. Let me know in the comment section if you miss it too. I mean, sure, it's straightforward, but I digress. But anyway, actually, my dad found the mobile version on his phone. And he was doing pretty good. First couple of levels, till he got to level 5, and then kablamo! Which, level 5 is pretty hard. Anyway, level 5 did look pretty hard. But anyway, so they're trying to, the guy with the clipboard, he's like, listen, yikes. Well, you guys stay here until we can find homes for you. And by here, he means where his station is. So many people start offering to take them in, and no surprise, Fix-It Felix Jr. and I forget the girl's name. 6 years after they ended up together, they got married, and they offer to take the 15 children. Only to realize, okay, this is a ridiculous handful. It's ridiculous. Then, Vanellope doesn't show up because of the fact that obviously she's upset over losing her game, and Ralph really wasn't that supportive. He became insecure over losing. Let me put it to you this way. Ralph was acting kind of like a jerk. I mean, and Tapper's like, no, Ralph, for the billionth time since you asked me 5 minutes ago, no, I have not seen Vanellope. Give her a break. The poor kid just lost her game. And like I said, Fix-It Felix is right there next to him. And it's like, oh, boy. 15 children is a bit of a handful. And Wreck-It Ralph's like, say that again. Boy. That's... And he goes, that's what Mr. Litwack said, to go to eBoy or eBay and look for a new controller. So I'm going to go there and look for a new controller for Vanellope's game. Once I can fix Sugar Rush, then things will be back to normal. She won't feel so bad, and I'll have my friend back. We can go back to hanging out again. Well, hijinks ensue, and Fix-It Felix is like, Ralph, I don't think that's a good idea. And he's like, oh, come on. How bad can it be? So he said, all right, worth a shot. Anyway, Vanellope's back at home, really upset over the fact that she lost her game. And I totally get it. I know how it feels to lose everything. I get it. Considering that happens to me a lot. And it's not a very good feeling. But anyway, Vanellope's like really upset. And Ralph's like, come on, kid, we're going to eBoy. Or we're going to get your game back. And she's like, what? And she goes, really? That is awesome. And they're like, yeah. I should have just said we're going to the internet. I should have just told you. Well, they get inside of the core to the internet, and the core doesn't look like much. They think it's underwhelming, but that's only because it was off. They don't realize that that's what it looks like when it's off and not plugged in yet. Which I can understand, because it's their first time in there. Anyway, hijinks ensue, and they meet, yes, no, and maybe at the front desk. And like, can you tell me where I can... And the next thing you know, boom, Spamly shows up. Anyway, then Spamly's like, look, if you can get Shank's car from Slaughter Race, after giving him chump change ideas, if you can get Shank's car from Slaughter Race, then you'll have more than enough money to get that controller. Because before all of that, though, they go to a bidding war, and Ralph bids $27,001. And there's like a lot of, that's like a lot of money. So Ralph's got to get all that in 24 hours, or else he loses the controller. And he gets those reminders and blah, blah, blah. They end up... Yaz teaches Penelope how to become a pop-up. And Ralph doesn't want her sent to a dangerous place. So he gets her sent to none other than the Disney basis, ohmydisney.com, which we end up meeting all the princesses. And literally one of my favorite parts is the interaction she has where they're like, she's like, "Are you guys all right? Should I call the ambulance?" And asking her a whole bunch of questions. But the last question gets me every time. And now for the $1 million question. Do people assume all your problems got solved because a big, strong man helped you out? Yes! What is up with that? Is Vanellope's response. And then they go into Slaughter Race, but they were in Slaughter Race before they got trained to become pop-ups. So they got back into Slaughter Race, tried to figure out what to do, and Penelope finally found her song. After a little bit of reflection, mumbo jumbo, it takes her a while to get the reflection in the water working. Anyways, she and Shank became really, really good friends, and that's why she wanted to go back there. And goes, well, Ralph asks Spamley after hearing that Penelope doesn't want to go back. And that's literally conveniently after they win the bid to get the controller and they try to go through. And either way, Ralph teaches, Shank teaches Ralph about BuzzTube, which is another site that's like YouTube, but I guess better. Anyway, the point is, I guess it's an updated version of it, but a separate site on its own. I don't know. Anyway, starts making a really funny video. It's just hilarious. And then the more they learn that the more hearts they get, the more money they'll get, then they'll win the controller, then they'll be able to go back home. And anyway, hijinks ensue. Long story short, Ralph is kind of self-conscious because of reading the comments. On total accident, he stumbles onto the comic room or comment boards, and yeah. But Yaz tells him that they won the controller with more than enough to go. And boom. But even though they got the controller, Vanellope, something happens which triggers, like, when Spamley sends Ralph to go see a friend, their friend gives Ralph a little help to make a bug in Slaughter Race, so Vanellope will choose to go back home because he didn't want to lose her. But in the end, he almost lost her anyway because of his own negligence, and she rightfully got pissed off. rightfully, she got mad. And I'd be mad too. If I was her, I'd be so mad. But anyway, she ends up snapping the charm that she made in half in a fit of rage. And she just runs off, and instead of the virus turning on Vanellope, it turned on Ralph. Well, technically it turned on both of them, because it copied and distributed both her insecurities and Ralph's insecurities. Even though Ralph's family told Ralph directly, don't be insecure, don't be stupid, he warned him. And then basically the whole internet got busted because of his dumbass. And they called it the Wreck-It Ralph virus. Which, ironically, yes, makes sense. But anyway, after everything, and he finally realizes that he needs to let Vanellope go, and he tries to convince the big weird Ralph virus that he has no choice but to let her go. But not before she gives herself up. And yeah, he came to terms with it eventually. And she joins Slaughter Race, and everything in Sugar Rush changed. It wasn't the same. Nobody was obnoxious anymore. It just wasn't the same without her. But her picture was still on the machine. Which is a plus. So, happily ever after, everybody got what they wanted. And Ralph came to terms with everything. And too bad it only took so long for him to do so, but I totally understand it. I get it. And Vanellope was so upset when she found out the charm was snapped in half. She's like, oh my god, I'm sorry I broke it. I'm so sorry. And Ralph's like, look, there's a bright side. Now we both have a match. Which, what would have happened if it didn't snap in half, huh? What happened if one half got more than the other? Then you wouldn't have had a match, but at least you still would have had a piece of the charm. But it wouldn't click together like it does, because it's missing a few pieces. But you get the idea. I totally understand that, because my mom and I, before my, I don't have it anymore, but we had a necklace where I had one half of a heart and she had the other half, and whenever I'd come home from anywhere, we'd click it together. But then started to realize that my shunt was not reacting very well to the metal, to the Teflon. Apparently I can't wear stuff with cheap metal. It has to be like super expensive. But I can only wear it for a certain amount of time because I don't want to take any chances. That only happens around my neck though. I can wear rings, but I can't wear certain necklaces. Now, if they're coated, that's perfectly fine. Like, I'll show you. I have a necklace that my brother Lorenzo gave me. If my jewelry box will open, are you stupid thing? Hang on, guys. There it goes. This right here is the necklace I got from my friend Erin and her wedding. After what happened to, her husband tried to commit, about a year or so ago. Oh, there's my B-ring. Jeez. I don't have a slot to stick you. Okay, where is my... Here it is. Aha! I know I showed you guys this before, but here we go. You can't really see it very well. Hang on. I gotta get it to stop. Where's the charm? There we go. You see? The Birth by Sleep loading screen logo. My brother got me this one. Hang on. My brother Lorenzo got me that one, and it's a coated chain, but he told me not to take any chances with it. If I wore it, I was only to wear it for a short amount of time due to the fact of the allergy that I have. The reaction could be catastrophic. Even if the chain is coated, he doesn't want me to take any chances with it. But neither one of those necklaces have like a half and a half, but you guys get the point. I just wanted to show you an example. Sorry, kind of got a little bit reminiscent there. But anyway, they said after Vanellope calls Ralph, she tells him that the next time they can hang out is during a January update, and they said, all right, I'll see you then. And that's pretty much how the movie ended. Everybody got what they wanted, and it's all great until they, too bad it took so long for them to get there. But I know how difficult it is to get through insecurity. But anyway, yeah, I wanted to show you guys those because those are perfect examples of some unique necklaces that you get from your friend or whatever. But yeah, if I was to give Ralph Breaks the Internet a score, I would say it was just a About a 9 out of 10. I love the sequel, do not get me wrong. And one other part I forgot to mention before I end this is in Sugar Rush, they asked what the secret to parenting was, and why did you not let him say it? That's just dumb. Why did you have to edit it out? I really wanted to know what it was. And even if there was even if it was a DVD copy and it was a deleted scene or whatever, still probably wouldn't tell me what it was. That's like one of the biggest mysteries surrounding Wreck-It Ralph 2. But anyway, yeah, 9 out of 10, which would still equal 4.5 out of 5. Actually, it would equal, 4.5 out of 5. So that was Ralph Breaks the Internet. If you had any favorite parts, just let me know in the comments and we'll get a discussion started. If there were scenes you would have liked to see, let me know there too. I'll see you guys next time. Comment, rate, subscribe to become a Keyblade Builder, and stay awesome as usual. Peace, and I love each and every one of you. Stay safe and stay awesome. Not even joking about those two things, because you guys are awesome, and I want you guys to stay safe, because you mean a lot to me.